Russell Martin on the brink as the board faces revolt. Meanwhile, Rangers risk losing out on Jose Mourinho after dithering over the sack. Gerrard drops a bombshell over potential Rangers return. And now, fans are turning up the heat with full-blown protests led by the Union Bears. And to top it all off, talkSPORT's Jim White throws fuel on the fire, calling out Rangers Ultras live on air. It's all kicking off, and you need to see every second of it. You might want to sit down for this one, because what's happening at Ibrox right now is nothing short of a crisis, and the man at the center of it, Russell Martin, could be living on borrowed time. The latest rumblings from G51 are painting a picture more dramatic than a Hogmanay soap opera. The timeline of Martin's potential sacking is becoming clearer by the day, and with Andrew Kavanagh preparing to take his seat at Ibrox this weekend for the Premier Sports Cup quarter-final against Hibs, the heat is rising, let's not sugarcoat it. Martin's spell at Rangers has been an utter disaster. Broken records, but for all the wrong reasons. A win rate of just 25%, sitting 10th in the league, a 5-game winless run, knocked out of the Champions League before the leaves even started turning in autumn. It's the worst league start in 47 years, and now the Premier Sports Cup could be next. The warning signs are flashing like the Blue Toon disco lights. If Martin isn't gone before the 7th of December, it'll be a miracle. But truth be told, that might be far too late. The talk now is that Kevin Thelwell is already drawing up a list of replacements, and while Kavanagh has so far backed Martin in public, there's a growing belief that this weekend's atmosphere at Ibrox could change everything. Because you're angry, and rightly so. The boos during the Hearts game weren't just whispers, they were roars of fury. The sort of noise that shakes the marble staircase. Kavanagh, Marathi, and Stewart may soon realize that Ibrox isn't a sandbox for their American experiment. It's sacred ground, and it's on fire. Michael Grant reckons that one look at the rage in your eyes on Saturday and the suits might finally get the message. No more dithering, no more PowerPoint presentations, just action. The pressure cooker's about to blow, and if Martin walks out of Ibrox still in charge after a poor result against Hibs, the fury won't just be aimed at him, it'll be pointed squarely at the boardroom. We've got American owners watching Scotland's most decorated club crumble from the director's box backing a manager who couldn't cut it at Southampton. The net spend this summer over £20 million, and for what? To sit 10th in the William Hill Premiership and be out of Europe before the pies have even cooled? If Rangers lose to Hibs and Kavanagh still refuses to sack Martin, should he be the next to go? If you're not fuming after this, you've got the patience of a saint. While Russell Martin clings to the Ibrox hot seat like a dug hanging off a postie's leg, the news swirling around G51 this week might be the most infuriating yet, because while Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers keep doubling down on their catastrophic backing of Martin, it looks like Rangers are on the verge of missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime shot at landing Jose Mourinho. Yes, you heard that right. The special one. The man who's lifted 26 major trophies across the biggest clubs in Europe. The same Mourinho who's already spoken glowingly about Rangers, calling it a club of passion, expectation, and magnitude. The same Mourinho who said, "Why not?" when asked about managing in Scotland. And what did your club do? They hesitated. They stuck by Martin after a 2-0 battering at home to Hearts, after slipping to 10th in the table after a 5-match winless streak, after making this the worst start to a season since 1978. They watched Mourinho become available, made zero serious approach, and now, surprise, surprise, he's in advanced talks with Benfica. It's scandalous. Mourinho would have brought something Ibrox hasn't seen in years: gravitas, mentality, and aura. Imagine the message it sends across Europe if Rangers announce him. Imagine what that does to Celtic's dressing room. But instead, we're left hoping Martin can stumble past Hibs in the cup just to survive another week. Dr. Dan Plumley, a football finance expert, said it plain: Mourinho would have cost money, a big wage, a big break clause. But what price do you put on getting it right? Rangers already spent over £20 million this summer on a squad delivering absolutely nothing. Yet when it comes to a manager who's won everywhere he's gone, the board bottled it. And let's be real, this isn't just on Martin. This is on Kavanagh. This is on Thelwell. This is on every single one of them who thought you'd sit quietly and accept mediocrity. If they let Mourinho slip through their fingers while keeping faith in a manager who looks lost on the touchline and clueless in front of the mic, then they've failed you completely. Should Andrew Kavanagh be forced to resign if Rangers lose out on Jose Mourinho because he refused to sack Russell Martin? Right, you're going to want to brace yourself, because this could be the light at the end of a very dark tunnel for you at Ibrox. As Russell Martin clings to the job by the skin of his teeth, whispers are growing louder that Steven Gerrard could be waiting in the wings for an emotional return to Rangers, a reunion that, frankly, feels like the only logical solution to drag this club out of the mess it's sunk into. Now, let's not forget where we are. Martin's tenure has been an absolute shocker. No wins in 5 Scottish Premiership games. Sitting 10th, 9 points behind Celtic already out of the Champions League. A support that's lost all belief, and a manager whose latest comment when asked if the board still backs him was, and I quote, "We'll see." What kind of answer is that? You can smell the end coming, and Gerrard's name just keeps circling the conversation like a hawk over a carcass. And you know what? It makes total sense. This is a man who understands Rangers, who delivered when it mattered, who stopped Celtic dead in their tracks, went unbeaten in the league, and ended the decade-long title drought with a swagger. He's not some project. He's proven, he's battle-tested, and most importantly, he gets it. Yes, he took a detour with Aston Villa. Yes, he went to Saudi Arabia, but let's be real, nobody's cared about the Saudi Pro League since Ronaldo stopped scoring every week. Gerrard's been out of work since January, and while he's been enjoying family time and the occasional pint, even he must be tempted watching this Ibrox collapse unfold here. Speaking in March to former Liverpool teammate Peter Crouch, Gerrard claimed he was glad to be out of the spotlight. He said, "I don't want to be back in work, mate. No, I'm happy with waking up and being free, doing the family stuff, just being free away from stress." Greg Stewart certainly thinks so, and he's ready to call him himself. And Stewart's comments hit the nail on the head. There's no identity at Rangers right now, no fight, no purpose, no cohesion. Gerrard brought structure, brought belief, and more than anything, he brought winning football. The kind that made your chest puff out and had Celtic fans ducking behind sofas. Look, Gerrard once said he wanted a break. Fine. But football doesn't wait, and neither does Ibrox. If he truly loves this club, and I believe he does, then what better time to return than when everything's on the line? If Gerrard is willing to return, should Rangers sack Martin immediately, even if it means breaking the bank to make it happen? Things are boiling over at Ibrox, and Saturday could be the tipping point. The Union Bears, loud, proud, and unrelenting, have now drawn a line in the sand. Their message: if Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart are still in a job come kickoff against Hibs, there will be consequences. A full-scale protest has been called for, with supporters urged to descend on Edmiston Drive from 4:30 p.m, long before a ball is kicked in the Premier Sports Cup quarter-final. Now, let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just a group of angry punters having a moan on social media. This is the Union Bears, the beating heart of Ibrox on a match day, saying enough is enough. They've branded Martin's leadership an absolute failure and labelled Stewart's role in appointing him a catastrophic decision. And you can feel that fury bubbling through the stands, the concourses, the pubs, and now the airwaves. Enter Jim White, Never shy of a microphone or a dig, the talkSPORT host decided to call out the Union Bears on national radio, accusing them of hiding behind a statement and challenging them to come on air if they're brave enough. Brave enough? Seriously? This isn't a game of hide and seek, Jim. This is about a fan base watching their club implode while the suits upstairs sip coffee and fiddle with spreadsheets. The supporters aren't hiding. They're organizing. They're vocal. They've stuck by the team through decades of highs and crushing lows, and now they're being taunted for demanding standards. Simon Jordan joined in too, dismissing the outrage as hysterical and over the top. You'd think someone with experience in running a football club might understand the concept of accountability, but instead we got a lecture about fans getting carried away and not being informed of everything. Well, here's the thing, you are informed. You've seen the football. You've watched Martin's Rangers fail to win a single league match. You've paid for your season tickets. You've seen Stewart point the finger at supporters while hiding from his own decisions. You're the one suffering through this debacle, not two media darlings sitting comfy in a London studio. And while Martin and Stewart hang on to their jobs, the only people showing actual leadership right now are the ones calling for change, the ones rallying outside Ibrox, the ones who refuse to accept mediocrity as the new normal, the ones who still believe Rangers should demand excellence. You're not the problem. You're the pressure. And sometimes pressure is exactly what a boardroom needs. Do you think the Union Bears were right to plan protests, or should Rangers supporters be doing even more to force change before the club falls any further? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers. So if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.